Singapore will head to the polls on 3rd of May amid what Prime Minister Lawrence Wong described as profound changes in the world that have ushered in uncertainty and instability. Mr. Wong had earlier advised President Tharman Shanmugaratnam to dissolve Parliament and issue the Writ of Election. Mr. Wong noted that the global conditions that supported Singapore's success in past decades may no longer hold. At this critical juncture, he said Singaporeans must choose the team to lead the nation and shape its future together. Nomination day is set for 23rd of April, with 9 days of campaigning to follow. A cooling-off day will precede polling day on 3rd of May, which is also a public holiday. Meantime, opposition parties gearing up and posting on social media, with some raising questions on the election timeline. Here's what the parties have to say. The Workers' Party has shared on its social media what looks like its new catchphrase, "Working for Singapore." While it says slogans have changed over the years, WP says it remains committed to representing a diverse Singaporean population while working towards a first world parliament. The Progress Singapore Party also posted a video highlighting the contributions of its party members in Parliament over the past 5 years. Its chief, Leong Man Wai, adds that the party stands by its track record and is ready to engage voters. The Singapore Democratic Party says the period between the release of the Electoral Boundaries Report and dissolution of Parliament is short, calling it, quote, "smash and grab tactic by the ruling party." Secretary-General of the coalition named People's Alliance for Reform, Lin Tian, taking to Facebook to stress how each vote can make a difference to Singaporeans' future and rights. As for the Singapore People's Party, they have stressed their commitment to serve Singaporeans and work towards a more equitable and inclusive nation. Chairman of the Singapore Democratic Alliance, Desmond Lim, calls upcoming election a time for change, urging Singaporeans to stand up and make their votes count. Red Dot United called on voters to reflect deeply, adding that the election is ultimately about the kind of country Singapore wants to become. While the People's Power Party urge voters not to be swayed by the politics of fear and not silence diverse voices or entrench a one-party narrative. 9 nomination centres will be set up across the island, where potential candidates will file their papers to stand in the upcoming election. Each covers about 3 to 4 constituencies. We take a look at these key spots. One to watch is Jurong Pioneer Junior College. It will be the nomination place for Bukit Gombak SMC, Chua Chu Kang GRC and Marsiling UTGRC, where Prime Minister Lawrence Wong is contesting. Methodist Girls' School, meanwhile, will cover Bishan Toa Payoh and Holland Bukit Timah GRCs and Bukit Panjang and Marymount SMCs. Over at Nan Hua High School, potential candidates can file papers to contest in Jurong Central and Pioneer SMCs, Jurong East Bukit Batok GRC, as well as West Coast Jurong West GRC, the site of the closest battle at the last election in 2020. In central Singapore, Bendemeer Primary School will be the nomination site for Queenstown and Radin Mas SMCs and Tanjong Pagar GRC. Northward, Senior Minister Lee Hsien Loong is expected to file his candidacy at DE Secondary School, the nomination centre for Ang Mo Kio GRC. It is also the location for Jalan Kayu, Kebun Baru and Yio Chu Kang SMCs. On the opposition front, we can expect Leader of the Opposition, Pritam Singh, to be at Poi Ching School, the nomination centre for Aljunied GRC. Potential candidates for Tampines GRC, Tampines Changkat and Hougang SMCs will also have to turn up here. Now, Kong Hua School will also be the site for those looking to contest in Jalan Besar, the newly formed Marine Parade Bradle Heights GRC, Mountbatten and Potong Pasir SMC. Plenty of action to come at Chung Fu School as well, the nomination centre for Nee Soon and Sembawang GRCs plus Sembawang West SMC. While Yusof Ishak Secondary School will be where potential candidates for East Coast, Pasir Ris Changi, Punggol and Sengkang GRCs submit their documents. Now, it is one of the shortest yet most pivotal moments in Singapore's election timeline. In just a single hour, Nomination Day launches the race to the ballot box and determines who gets to stand for election. As the country gears up for GE 2025, Sabrina Ng breaks down what potential candidates can expect.
To contest in the general election, prospective candidates must submit and fill out a series of forms and certificates. In past years, prospective candidates had to travel down to the elections department to collect and fill up these forms in person. But since the last GE, this process can be done online through the elections department website.
Here's what must be filled out. First, the nomination paper. It requires the names and NRIC numbers of the candidates or group of candidates, their proposer, seconder, and at least 4 assenters, and of course, the constituency they are keen to contest in. In addition, minority candidates contesting in a GRC must obtain a certificate from the respective community committees. There is also the 13,500 Singapore dollars election deposit, the same amount as in 2020. Payment can be made online and must be done before noon on Nomination Day. This deposit will be forfeited if candidates garner less than 1/8 of the votes in their electoral divisions. Candidates in 2 constituencies lost their deposits in 2020. In 2015, 3 candidates failed to get their deposits refunded. Candidates must also apply for a political donation certificate. For example, they must report donations of 10,000 Singapore dollars or more, single or multiple ones from the same donor in any calendar year. They are also not allowed to receive anonymous amounts beyond 5,000 Singapore dollars during the relevant period. This is to counter possible foreign interference and hostile information campaigns by foreign actors. Other details in the application process include appointing an election agent, disclosing if they have any foreign affiliations, and submitting a photo to be placed on the ballot paper. After filling up the nomination papers, applicants must submit them in person to the returning officer between 11 a.m. and noon on Nomination Day. Late or incomplete submissions will not be accepted. Candidates can object to any nomination from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. These can be based on the grounds that candidates are not suitable or when nomination papers have not been properly filed.
The 9-day campaign blitz kicks off right after nominations closed on 23rd of April. It wraps up on the 2nd of May, that's cooling off day. Here's what candidates and voters need to know as things heat up. Now, for the first time, new laws ban deepfakes of candidates during the election period. All persons are not allowed to publish digitally generated or manipulated online election advertising content that misrepresents a candidate's speech or actions. Before the start of the campaign period, new banners, flags and posters that could be seen as election advertising is not allowed to be displayed. Now, the list of declared banners, flags and posters will be published on the Elections Department website. ELD says walkabouts and house visits do not need a permit from the police if they're done to meet and greet residents. But such walkabouts must not be an explicit demonstration of support or opposition to particular persons or ideas. Now, candidates must also play their part to mitigate the risk of falling victim to foreign interference. Only Singapore citizens can take part in elections and campaigning. Candidates cannot solicit foreign support for their campaigns.